as we do the intro, which is now is the intro.
Hello.
Lau's setup is broken, so we're gonna draw this out.
Yeah,
Nella,
classical.
what are we talking about today? And remember, speak very slowly.
I'm excited for this. We talk about multi-sessions with AI agents in multi-terminals. And I have to admit, I have not as professional setup as Lau and you. We talk about tmux and we talk about cmux as well. And yeah, maybe Brett, like maybe you can give me a reason why I should start using those, because what I do at the moment is I split my terminals. I have a terminal and I split it into multiple. I let Claude run in there and have multiple sessions open that way. But I feel I might miss out on something, right? So can you?
Well, as the saying goes, man, what is the saying? There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, which is a reference to Reese's peanut butter cups, and that there are multiple ways to do things. So I would say with having multiple terminals, one thing that you might be missing out on is like getting the sessions to spy on each other if you have two different Claude Code sessions running. Another thing might be, or without like a lot of additional wiring, or you have to tell them both to communicate to the same file. Another thing would be, so like if you have your dev server running somewhere and it has logs and you want your Claude to look at those logs and your Claude is in another terminal window, that can be kind of tricky. With again, like there's other ways to do that. You could tee it into a log file and then have your Claude just look in that log file. But there's a lot of that kind of stuff that you get for free when you use something like tmux or cmux. I would say that's the biggest lift. And then the added benefit of learning tmux more specifically, I think, like, I haven't done SSH with cmux, but I was prepping for this show and I've found a really cool feature that they do that I'll talk about later that will make me try it. Maybe I can try it today. But basically, like if you have a remote server that's always running somewhere and you want to run an agent on it, then tmux is a way to start that in a session, and then you can disconnect your SSH and that session lives. And so it can keep working while you are no longer connected to the machine, which is a good way to have Claudes work overnight. Do the night shift.
That's how I, when I'm connecting to a remote workstation, that's basically what I do.
Yeah.
Everything inside of that runs inside of a tmux session. And so then I can, even if I lose connection or stuff, I know that will keep running.
I think that was so I got back into tmux after a long hiatus because it was just like not necessary in my life. After I copied Lau's setup somewhat unwittingly. I think you'd offhandedly mentioned I have a Hetzner box running Claude on it. And then like a month later, I did a setup with like Hetzner Tailscale and tmux, and then I was like, what was your setup again? And then it was exactly what I did. So I'm assuming it was it stuck somewhere in the back of my head.
I think also we had tmux once on the stream, if you remember. I think it was when we talked about the multi-agents, and we had it on my computer, and you tried to teach me the shortcuts, and I think it was a painful experience.
Which is the interesting thing, like it's going to sound like I was being like verbally abusive, but I was just yelling like the keystrokes, but I was yelling them incorrectly, it turns out. I was like, it shouldn't be happening like that. It's Control B, Control then B. But it turns out you have to press them at the same time. And like, I'd never, like, it's something you're not aware of when it becomes muscle memory. Yeah. I think that's the main benefits of tmux that we'll cover today. There's plenty of others. I would also say for me, it's like, it's just like naming things. So like, I can name all of my sessions, and this is something I need to improve, but like I have a lot of things going on at any point in time, and it's spread out across multiple machines. But like everything is named, and I've chosen the naming scheme, and you're probably going to see it later today. And it's a little chaotic. It could probably be tuned, which is why I want to talk about it, so that I'm forced to reconcile with my own strange decisions. But it's very nice to have, like, you have your list of sessions that are all named in a particular way. They're doing things. You go away. When you come back, you just list your sessions, and you kind of know. You're like, oh yeah, that's what was happening there. That's what was happening there. And I find that nice.
Should we jump into one of those setups and sessions?
Yeah, I don't know. Lau, is your stuff fixed?
I think it's in progress of being fixed right now. But we can jump in. So the reason half of it is broken is that, like, I used to be very diligent about naming sessions, and I had I'll just share my screen maybe, and we can dive right in.
Oh, he's diving in.
So I have, this is a tmux process running on my remote machine.
What's the name of your remote machine?
It's called Rivendell.
That's so cool.
Because it's the secluded, I don't know, whatever.
Because the elves live there, Lau?
Yeah, because the elves live there. I have another box called Rohan, so I was like, okay, I'll just keep naming them after Lord of the Rings cities.
I think you were the first programmer to ever name a bunch of machines.
Yeah, I know. I'm very like, it's not like there's like 1,000 companies named after this. So I used to I actually switched how I work with tmux lately. I used to have every directory would create a session. You might see stuff jumping in because I have an agent testing stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, so this is, I'm just going to say the thing before you show it, because I think you're going to show something like this. Yeah, the pop-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be very curious about that. So this is a tmux pop-up. You're in tmux right now.
Yes, I'm in tmux right now. So there's double layering. One other thing that I found that is quite useful with Ghosty, I like to use tmux when I'm remote, but I like to not use tmux when I'm using a thing locally. And so I've set up, you'll see this little thing over here at the bottom, the little pill shaped that says tmux. So Ghosty has key binding modes that you can switch. When I'm using native Ghosty, I want Command T to open a native tab. So if I turn that off, like, it will just open a new tab, and this is on my machine. But when I'm in tmux, I want the new tab to open inside of tmux, which would be trying to wire like the key chord sequence that I use, but I find the straight command ones more convenient.
Wait, so you say a new tab, that's like a new window in the same session for tmux, right? Or what? What is a new tab?
You see the things at the top here, like these are tabs.
Yeah, but are those just like in tmux term? Okay, I guess. What is a tab here?
A tab, yeah, I guess it's a window.
Okay, a window.
In tmux, tabs and windows are kind of the same.
Yeah.
But then they can have panes. So, for example, right now, this is inside of my remote machine. This is not. The right side is.
Yeah.
But if I enter the key, the tmux key binding mode, which stays unless I turn it off, this is now within tmux. So this is all within the remote machine.
Okay. Yeah.
So this has been like helpful for disambiguating that, because the moment Ghosty adopts tmux control mode, which is sort of headless, I will switch to that, because tmux is actually a performance hit on the terminal rendering, because all of the incoming keys, they have to be rendered twice, once by the ghosty renderer and once by the tmux. So your computer is doing double the work of rendering individual characters.
Also did not know that.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So that's sort of one thing. The other thing I used to have, so I had this function where I would, like, this is a little script that would index, I would hit Command O, and it would index all of my projects, and I could, you know, jump into it, and now it's straight in the session that is named after that project, its current working directory, it's set to that project, and I can start working inside of that. But I noticed what I started doing more, and then, you know, if I wanted to switch between them, I had this like session picker where I could just quickly jump between those. So this matches the first character of the session, and I can jump them. But what I noticed I'm started doing more is that I work at a top level directory because I drive agent from that. So I drive my Claude or Pi as a little bit more like OpenClaw. This is because then I don't have to think about creating work trees. I can point Claude, like I can start a Claude session, and I can point it to a directory. It can pull down a reference repo somewhere, and it always stays outside of my main work monorepo. So rather than starting a session inside of the monorepo, I start the agent session one step outside. So then I don't need tmux sessions per work trees or things like that, because I don't. It's a kind of a thing where it's like, I realize I really don't want to. I know there's like a lot of fancy orchestrators, and everybody's very excited about sort of building those. I'm like, I just want to talk to my computer, and I want the agent to figure out, you know, sort of the whole mechanics of creating work trees and managing those. I will just tell it what to do, and it will do it for me. And so for that is like, okay, I'm going to start at the top level and just, you know, go figure it out. That, like, a lot of the tooling that I've built from my previous workflow, I haven't quite shifted yet, and so there's some remnants that are a little bit annoying.
So
but
what would be like a different session for you? It would still be like, or this is
a new window.
Oh, you only do one session, multiple windows.
Yeah, once you see, I mean, if you look at that top bar, these are all of my projects going on at the same time, and like inside of it, I will have 4 splits.
Yeah.
I don't look at this at one time for the most part. If I really work in it, I use the zoom functionality. So you can, at any given tmux pane, you can hit command space, the leader key, enter, and it will zoom that in for you. So you're only looking at that thing, and the rest of the panes are in the background. But I'm basically tabbing through the windows until I find what I want.
Interesting.
Now the thing I mentioned that tmux renders twice. The light keeps going off in this but so the thing that I mentioned, that it parses twice. The main benefit for me for that, and I think you're going to mention, Brett, as well, is that I can, like, you can have Claude interact with tmux itself. So I have a tmux skill that I've wrote up for Claude or for Pi, how to use the tmux session. And so I can tell it to spin up or monitor dev servers. Like in that session that I said, like when I was debugging things, I would like, this is my like main dev server, and there's a client, and all of these are just, you know, log pipes that a given agent can just look up, and I can say, hey, in pane 1 of this window, you'll find the logs. Go figure it out.
Yeah, I guess the quick. So like, I'm realizing we're going kind of deep on tmux without explaining like the core concepts.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a session. Your tabs in this session are the windows. So we see window 1 bun, and all along the top we have. So we're currently now on window 5.
Yes.
Which is a fish shell. And then you have 2 different panes. So we see the 1 node.
Yes, that's this
one. Yep, that refers to pane 1. And then we see 2 fish, and that's pane 2, which is running your fish shell.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm just going to guess at what your tmux skill does, which is tells Claude how to look up a window and then a pane, and then get the whatever information, whatever text is in it.
Yeah. The main thing, like with something like Pi, that is a very good coding agent that we could probably dedicate a whole stream to, is I had it like I can either tell it how to access it, or if I want to shortcut it, like say I have, you'll see like, say I have some output inside of this that I want to make sure that this agent gets. I have a little extension that uses tmux's APIs, and now I can sort of find that tab, which is usually easier. But say like window 5, pane 2, and I can just insert it. And so now when I send that message, it will, that content gets inserted into this. So that is like a easy way for me to grab something that I'm seeing elsewhere and have the agent be able to track that as well.
Nice. All right. Okay. Yeah. What else? What else you got?
So anything like, I think this is outside of like window management and that, I find that to be the main thing. Like the fact that it's a terminal ASCII output that can then be seen by Claude as well is the main thing, I would say. What that means is I can use tmux pop-up displays. Even like, I mean, Pi is where I can write an extension. I can't do that in Claude, but in Claude, if I run it, I can build special CLIs that make use of. So I can use this, for example. So I have a tmux TFP. I can run this, and now I get a FP issue selection in here, and I can say, okay, let's take this issue, and this is now inside of the Claude's context. So this like maneuverability that you get from rendering windows that you interact with that are then piped into Claude's, I'm using it. It's basically a very simple surface that both me and my agent gets to use. And that is, I think, outside of the like session persistence and that, like in this new world of agents like that for me is the main feature, I would say.
Oh. Nice. The pop-up.
Yes.
I don't know. That's cool.
A pop-up is just a temporary window that you can spin up at any given point. Yeah.
But then it puts the right. So then it just pipes the standard out. Yeah, Nella, what were you gonna ask?
Yeah.
I was asking, the pop-ups also show up automatically, right? Because when you had one session open and stuff was happening in the background, they would pop up for you as a notification, I guess, or?
No, that one was, this was the quickly thing that I was fixing. But basically, if Claude runs TFP, it will also,
nice.
jump in front. So like, there's ways you can use that to your advantage. But basically, this is sort of, I'm trying to find tmux. Yeah, tmux display message, tmux pop-up here. That's the one.
Yeah.
So it's running tmux pop-up window, running inside of it, running a FZF script, and populates it with content from FP, essentially.
Yeah. FCF, also something that I stumbled upon when I got back into being on a remote box. I don't think we have time to cover it, but look it up, people. It's good stuff.
Great. It's great, and it's really cheap to make these kind of scripts right now.
Yeah.
I do have can I ask another question?
Yes, go
or
for
do
it.
you have another one, Brad? Well, I go first now. I decided that. So is there, like, you have like now 5 windows open, so 5 different sessions. Is there any time the possibility that maybe in one of those sessions Claude gets stuck? And do you have somehow a notification that you know in which session maybe Claude needs input or something?
I have a note, like I set up like a little hook for notifications, meaning if Claude basically finishes a session or asks for permission, it only works if that window is focused, and I haven't found a way how to do it for like unfocused tabs. I've kind of, it's one of those things where it's like, as I'm figuring this out, I want as little things. I will do anything that I can to unblock Claude, but if I'm focused on something that is not that thing, I don't want that other thing distracting me, because otherwise I found myself in earlier runs I would have each separate. I would run each tmux tab in a separate ghosty tab in order so I would get those notifications, and by like lunch of that day I would be wiped out.
Okay. Yeah, I do get it, but that means basically you go back to those windows and check, like, but then also it means your focus time is always where you are in the current session. I think that makes sense. I mean,
yeah. All right. Yeah, definitely got some stuff I want to steal from there. I think actually it's mainly the top bar that I want to steal. I will probably rewatch this stream as well for other pieces of inspiration. I don't think I'm going to copy the run everything from root, even though I appreciate the philosophy, but I usually just point, like, I've admitted this enough on this stream. I just run, with dangerously bypassed permissions, so that Claude can read whatever it needs to. And I'm frequently pointing Claude to other repos. Like sometimes I'll create a new folder and just be like, look at this other repo.
Yeah.
Basically copy it, but do these things differently.
Yeah.
I'm also realizing Lau and I have a meeting in 7 minutes that we can be slightly a minute or two late for. So I'm trying to think of what I show. I might skip a little bit my tmux setup.
you could go into your cmux or into
never mind. Sorry, the meeting got canceled. Okay, cool. We got time, everybody. If you were looking for a short stream,
nope.
You were looking in the wrong place. So, all right. Gonna give Lau and other people who organized a heart attack by trying to find the pain that we need. All right. Cool. What do we got? What? Oh, I hate that. When you click the hide for hide the fact you're sharing a screen, it sends you back to the browser. Okay. What are we looking at? This is a little chaotic. All right. We are right now on my remote machine, which I call Klausmeister. Fun bit. I know this isn't about setting up remote machines, but whenever I log in with SSH, it will print a little cat and say, "Hallo Klaus, schön, dass du da bist," which means nice to see you here, basically.
Why did you decide to make it German? Like, why is your
right? That's a good question. That's a really good question. There's a specific reason, which is that the server's in Germany. because it is a Hetzner remote box, extremely reasonably priced, very dependable, and exactly what I wanted. Okay, no, we won't go into that part. So the main thing you're going to see from me on this remote box for tmux stuff is that I have shortcuts because I was often using this on my phone and I did not want to type a lot of tmux syntax. So if I do TL, that lists all my sessions, which is the same thing as tmux ls. And you'll see there's a lot of sessions. And so Lao uses a one session, multiple window workflow. I'm now going to rethink ways I could copy that in certain parts, but I do actually like because I forget a lot of the like random ideas that I have that are spin-off. So having a name for everything is kind of nice. That said, if I keep Claude running, that does eat up memory. So sometimes I do a house cleaning on, hey, you've had like 4 Claude sessions running for 2 months. And I'm like, oh, forgot about those. So aside from that, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to add here. I think, right, okay, so this is my setup too here is, so I don't do the new random work tree. Let's grab. What I do is I have a set. Basically, I have 6. I'm only 6 here. All right, I have between 6 and 8 work trees that are already set up and configured and ready to go with our mono repo. And when I need to do any feature work, and okay, why 6 to 8? Because I can't it's the human brain. Very rarely will I need to go above 3 to 5 things at once. But sometimes if I'm doing research on a bug or research on a new feature or just throwing something out, I need a little bit more than 5. They have random names. I've recently taken to the ABC, so Aurora, Barrett, Charlie, those are just random. The latest one is named Dill because it's a nice herb that I enjoy putting in dishes. So when I start work on something, I'll okay, so we have TL. So you'll see in here a bunch of things that start with N. Why is this shorthand? Again, because I did this a lot on my phone, not because I love short names or anything particularly. But so it's like NA is Nocturne Aurora, NB is Nocturne Barrett, blah, blah, blah. And when I start a session, so if I went TNB, that's great. So this is my Barrett. Also loved that Lau brought up Zoom. So for me, my tmux chord is Control B at the same time, and then Z, that zooms on the session. And now what I would typically do, so you can automate a lot of this with Claude as well, and you can tell Claude to do this yourself, but Control B, rename session, and then I would rename it to something like NB, I would say FP stream. At which point, what have we got? I'm behind main. I would do something like, check out the name of the branch that I want. Sometimes sometimes I tell Claude to do it. And usually that correlates to the session name. I realize that's very manual. So I'm calling myself out on I do a lot of small manual things when setting this up. So I'd start Claude, which I call Clyde. And then I would start my work in this session. And then, so that means if it's typically if it's something where I was just I want Claude to go off and experiment with an implementation or investigate a bug and possible fixes, that means I'm going to Control B, D to detach and go off and do something else while Claude works. And then the next time that I come back, if I forgot what was going on, I can quickly scan NB, FP stream, right? That's where that work was happening. That's pretty core part of my workflow. I want to also call out that I know, so one of the reasons I originally did just prefabricated list of work trees was that I was sick of new work trees not having all of the secrets that they needed in order to spin up our dev server or do things like that. So I now know that Claude Code, and I think other harnesses as well have some sort of like file, and in the root of like the shared. What do you call the root of a work tree? I can never remember. Is it just repo root?
I think the work tree root.
Work tree root, the root. Okay, so the work tree root can have like a special file. We should look this up. It's a special file that just tells Claude like, oh, these are the files you need to copy into a work tree for things to still work, but they might be git ignored. So yeah, that would probably solve some of my problems. But again, like I like having a predictably named thing that I see in a list, and I kind of know when I go back to wherever I am, where it is in the list. So I copy this setup. I have 3 different work machines, and I copy this setup across all 3, where I have similarly named work trees, tmux with abbreviations, and that mostly works for me, I guess. The only cherry on top here is, so if I reattach to tnb, note that I'm only doing nb, and when you tmux attach, you don't need to type the full thing. So tnb. At the end, I have a Claude Code command that's just nocturne work tree finish. And what that does is it looks at the name in the folder, resets the branch to this or something similar, makes sure that branch is up to date with origin main, and then renames the session to just NB. So that part is automated for me. Again, a little manual, but yeah. And one thing you will notice is that, oh wait, I don't have any other windows. So like what I miss from Lau's setup is that top bar that shows what windows you have. Also, I don't like the color that is down here on my tmux, and I want to make it prettier. So I'm a little, I'm encouraged to do so. Yes, so that's tmux for the way that
for you.
What's that?
I have a question here.
Yes, tell me.
If I can ask. You're also on a remote server right now, right? So it's not your machine, but that's your, like, do you still do work on your machine related to some of the repos? And when do you decide where to bring which work?
Yeah, it's basically like if my laptop, I will sometimes have to close and then bike home, or or I'm doing like automated QA, and I'm about to watch a series with my girlfriend, and I don't want browser windows popping up in the middle of what we're watching. So it's nice to have a different machine where that kind of stuff can happen.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's one determiner. It's basically like, if I know I'm going to be around my machine, then I'll do the work on my machine, my laptop. If I'm okay with it, like if I want it to run for an extended period of time and I have to go do stuff, then I typically do it on a remote machine.
Yeah. Same here. For the most, I started using a remote machine as I was traveling for work or otherwise, and working on a train Wi-Fi or something that is like unreliable, while I still want Claude to work through that. Lately, unless it requires like very detailed UI work, then I will use it on my desktop. But in most other cases, I try to push it on a remote machine for those reasons, and then also is a bit of a forcing function for myself to, like, okay, for validating this work, I can either do it manually, or I can figure out how to ask Claude to show me that it has completed that work.
No.
And it's a bit of a forcing function when like I don't have the direct access. Like Claude has its own machine over there and is doing the work, and now I have to like ask it to prove me that it has done that.
Yeah. Couple of other things I have forgotten and relearned along the way. One thing with tmux is if your computer restarts, the tmux server restarts, and you lose all of your sessions. And I think there's certain ways to persist the session, but that can be kind of annoying. Or if you run out of memory, as I did on my remote machine, and the tmux server crashes for that reason, you lose all of your sessions, which isn't fun. But okay. By the way, so I'm on my local machine right now, and you can see that it's very similar how it's setup. I kind of want to look into ways, but like the thing is, it works well enough for me right now. Now that said, on one of my remote machines, so a Mac remote machine, I was using cmux, and I kind of liked it. Someone brought up cmux on one of our streams in the comments, like last month and a half ago. And it's basically, so like I use Ghosty as a terminal, and this is basically like Ghosty under the hood, but with some UI niceties. And I really like their philosophy. So like their whole idea is to provide better primitives to like orchestrate agential coding sessions without like forcing you into it like a product would. And so to that extent, they have like a minimal set of things that you can, okay, first things first, like honestly, one of the reasons I would probably switch over to this entirely is the sidebar. Like tmux is great if you're on a remote Linux machine. If I'm on my Mac, I actually just like seeing the list of things that I have open in a sidebar is really nice. So that's one thing. The other thing is when you open a cmux session. Okay, so this is like when I download the app. This is the welcome screen, which you can always see with cmux welcome. Gives you the keyboard shortcuts, and it like introduces the CLI. Wait, let's see here. Yeah, so if you do the help command on the CLI, you're going to see a lot. It's a lot of tmux compatible things, which is cool. So it offers like a lot of the same benefits of like if I were in, so I'm going to open another terminal. Whoa, that changed the colors. If I open another like it's basically like tab in this, these are next to each other, but they can still communicate with each other through like tmux compatible commands or the cmux CLI. Other thing that I did not like at first, but I am actually going to retry. Okay, so it comes with a browser. Sorry, this is the Rose Pine Dawn. The browser. So like when I was, let's see here. The annoying thing was that I opened links from my terminal a lot. Is this the browser? That should be the browser, no? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So but it doesn't share, sessions with your normal browser, and I had to relog into things, and I found that very annoying. However, if you are like testing your application, if it's a web application or whatever, being able to like basically you can like launch a browser session in a split pane. Yeah, you can do browser open split URL, and then that's like a fresh session that like you could use specifically for testing, or your agent could use specifically for testing. And yeah, it's pretty easy to script little like things for Claude or whatever your agent is to like look at the browser and try things in what you're developing. And the other cool thing about browser, and this is the thing that I really, really, really want to try now. So if you start I haven't tried SSH, all their SSH features, but if you start an SSH session, and then you're in that and you like spawn some sort of web server, your cmux browser localhost will work like within your SSH session, which normally you would have to like write a tunnel, an SSH tunnel, to be able to like use localhost like it was on your machine. But that I thought was pretty cool. And like, yeah, it's just full of a lot of niceties, and that's what I think is pretty neat.
So you could go to your Klausmeister with cmux, SSH into it, and then start a server there, and then directly see it in the browser.
Oh, I misspelled it. Yes, so we could actually try this right now.
I think you'd need to use cmux SSH, no? Because then.
Oh yes, yeah, you're right.
It uses the
cmux. Ugh. Okay. And what do I do? All right, T and B. If I go into console here, oh wait, let's see if it actually on dev. Let's hope this works. I might need to. Install dependencies. Did I forget? All right, let's try this out.
Ooh.
Whoa, is it working? Yeah, it's working. But I think something's broken actually on the server. But you can see the.
Nice.
That's cool. That's
pretty cool.
handy.
Although I really actually feel like something's broken now. Let's try this again.
That's not cmux, that's your app. I don't know. I'm saying this here.
The theoretical. Wait, okay. What if I did B plus? No.
What should we see? I don't know. What app are you, or have you started?
It's the web app.
Do be careful not to leak your.
Yeah, I know. But all this is local stuff. So. Oh wait, did I leak anything? No. Should be fine. Wait, I should cover. How do I cover this up? Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to probably use this as my driver on my primary machine right now. I was mainly using it on a Mac Mini that was remote. Yeah. I don't know.
So could you summarize that cmux is a little bit nicer than tmux because it comes with a better UI and you don't have to go through the whole.
You don't have to learn tmux if you don't want to. I think would be the main thing. Like the barrier to starting is far smaller, but also it has notifications, so you can plug those into Claude hooks if you want to. I'm in Lau's camp, which is like I actually don't really want to be notified. I want to choose when I check back in on sessions. However, there could be times where that's useful. I don't know. There are times that I actually like if there were a permission issue and I'm expecting it to run for a very long time, I kind of want to know that, especially if it happens right away. But yeah, they have like built-in way to send yourself notifications and you can kind of get them right here. And then they associate with the pane. There's other niceties where like if there's a pull request associated with that pane, it'll show up down here. Actually, can I? But yeah, basically it's like, it's just a lot more thought put into, it's like, it's more dedicated towards, it knows you're using Claude code or an agent of some kind. And it gives you nice things on top of that.
Yeah. tmux is a old software that has been made for other purposes and has been useful for other purposes from long, which means that there are certain and like arcane things that that are tricky to get used to, whereas I feel like cmux lifts a lot of that out of the box.
Yeah. So I guess if, like me and other people want to get started really quickly on that game, cmux might be a good option. Like, you know, yeah, okay, both of you said yes. Okay, I know what I'm going to download after the
yeah, like I said, like honestly, the main thing that kept it in part of my workflow was the side tabs. Like that was just like enough of a lift where I was like, yeah, okay. I will say also coming from tmux, sometimes it was confusing because I wasn't actually in a, like, I was so used to being in a tmux session that like my muscle memory got kind of thrown for a loop. Because I have like specific key bindings for switching between panes, resizing panes in tmux itself, and then none of those worked in there. I always felt like I was in a tmux session where that should work. So there's a little bit of friction there for me, but yeah.
Cool. I mean, I will try cmux now. I think that's a good starting point, and I don't have to learn that many shortcuts, I guess, and key things.
And I will say, as a kind of a recap, I guess we kind of just did like a bare bones. These are things, you know, show and tell. I will say, like real workflow thing I did last night was, and unfortunately I don't have the session up anymore because I finished the feature. So our desktop app has a like toast notification and then a separate area where you can ask if there's a download, like an update available, and it will download it. And then you can restart the app. and we did not really have progress notifications. And so I hashed out how the UX should look. But my experience with coding agents and UI is it's very hit or miss. And so my approach was, when I tested out, there were specific like steps for, hey, create your own debug toolbar to be able to trigger different states, and like show those different states in the UI. And so then I had Claude go through like all the tasks and finish them in one window, and then the other cmux kind of like split pane. I basically started another Claude session, and then I told it like, hey, your buddy over there in the other cmux pane is working on a feature. It's going to take a while. I would like you to sleep and then check in on it every once in a while. And when it's done, I want you to basically QA it on like launch the desktop app, and then take screenshots and use the debug toolbar that's in one of the tickets to like trigger different states, take screenshots of them, and just make sure things sort of work, and so like by the time I woke up, then I had it attach the images to the tickets. So like when I woke up in the morning, I was able to review the actual screenshots of the UI that were done, and then like the Claude that had waited for the other Claude to finish also fixed a couple of bugs, because when it went to like try stuff out, it couldn't, and it was like, well, I need to fix this before I can do the QA session. So yeah, that's like a very realistic case of like two windows. And the reason I did that is because after finishing the entire like series of tickets, I knew that Claude would be low on context and dumber. So having a separate Claude with a fresh session dedicated only to like look at what happened would be more effective. That's my story.
Nice. Well, I mean, it sounds cool. I guess next time, I don't know, I will be on holiday next time, but maybe you want to continue the stream next time around those multi-sessions. Maybe you bring your story, and well, not the same story, but maybe you have something to show on that side. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, we can get into the depths of FCF and maybe the Pi coding agent.
Yeah, maybe it's time. It's time for a Pi. Lau gets to unload.
I get to onboard everyone on Pi.
Like, y'all are doing it wrong. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That was a healthy 48-minute stream.
Yes, I click the end stream now. So
okay.